Step 13. Interview Preparation. Before you get called for your first interview, you should use a mock interviewing technique with a friend, network contact, or interview coach. The more prepared you are for the interview, the more comfortable you will be. The more comfortable you are, the more likely you are to succeed. It is also important to remember that the people who will be interviewing are just regular people like you. They've likely also sat in your position, being interviewed for a role. It can be difficult to calm yourself, especially if you feel like everything is riding on a particular interview, and this is why it's best to get there a little early. You don't want to add the feeling of being late or flustered to the list of emotions that you'll be going through on interview day. Arriving early also gives you the time to head to the bathroom and to do a bit of deep breathing, or to give yourself a quick pep talk in the mirror before heading back to the lobby or waiting area. Top tip: drinking cold water is a quick biological hack to steady your nervous system. Take a bottle of water with you on the day, and remember to breathe deeply from your abdomen. There are a few more steps that you can take to ensure that you're well prepared for your interviews, and we'll be exploring them now. Researching the employer again. Things can change between the time you applied and the time you are called for an interview. Staying up to date on what the company is doing will make you seem genuinely interested and will put your head and shoulders above the rest. Do a bit of background digging before your interview, not just around the employer themselves, but around their interviewing process. It's fairly simple to find past employees who no longer work for the company in question. It's best to get in touch with them for this step, as opposed to getting in touch with current employees. You wouldn't want it to look like you're trying to solicit a cheat sheet out of current employees. Plus, if you actually get the job despite a current employee's reluctance to answer your requests, it could make things super awkward for you. So, if you need information on corporate culture and what employers are looking for, you can reach out to current employees as we discussed earlier. However, for help with what to expect in an interview, rather reach out to past employees who have nothing to lose or gain from the outcome of your interview. With this newfound insight on what to expect during the interview, you can begin working through some of these common questions, developing quick and intellectual answers to them. How to prepare answers to common questions. Preparing, reciting, and remembering a few answers to common questions will definitely help you feel more prepared, even if some of the questions you've prepared for don't come up on interview day. You'll want to prepare answers to common competency-based and general interview questions and then practice them with a friend or interview coach. Be confident in your delivery, but try not to sound scripted or rehearsed. People can sense when you are not being authentic. As such, recite answers back to yourself as you prepare for the interview, but loosen up and wing it a little during the actual interview. If you've been through a university admissions interview, you'll come to learn that the techniques to use when answering job interview questions are quite similar. You want to provide just the right amount of detail, qualifying and quantifying your answers in the process. Include context, objectives, details, actions, and most importantly, the results or outcome. When answering a question, be sure to use the STAR structure. Describe the situation you've been through. Describe the task you faced. Describe the actions you took to complete the task. Describe what happened/the result of your action. Mention the skills you developed or lessons learned. Now that we've clearly defined these interview principles, we can look at common questions. Number 1. Why do you want to work for us? Number 2. Why do you want this job? Number 3. Tell us why should we hire you? Number 4. What will you bring to the company? Number 5. What is your ideal work environment? Number 6. What are your core strengths? Number 7. What are your weaknesses? Number 8. How well do you adapt to new situations? Number 9. How do you deal with conflict? Number 10. What is your greatest professional achievement? Number 11. Do you think you have leadership skills? Number 12. How do you handle disagreements with supervisors? Number 13. How do you correct mistakes? Number 14. Why did you leave your previous job? Number 15. What are your starting salary expectations? Once you've formulated answers to these questions, you can start mentally preparing yourself for the morning of the interview. To develop answers to these questions, you need to understand that they want to gauge how you would handle similar conflicts, disagreements, and so on if they hire you. They also want to know if you left your previous job over something that is common in their company, thus making you a hire that will probably jump ship from them too. Always frame things in a positive light. That being said, this is not a time to lie or embellish stories. Just try to add a positive spin to everything. Showcase a growth mindset so that you seem like the most suitable candidate. Now, let's prepare for the morning of the interview. The morning of the interview. Start your morning off right by ensuring that you've gotten sufficient sleep the night before. Try to stay off any devices the night before and put your phone away at least 2 hours before bedtime so that your brain has time to register the fact that it's wind down time. If you'll be traveling to another state for your interview, make sure to arrive in-state at least a day before the interview. You'll also want to make sure that you take the time to travel to the company location the day before so that you're completely aware of how long it will take you to get there. If you use a rideshare company like Uber to do this, ask the driver what the traffic is like around the time of your upcoming interview. Be clear on how long it will take you to get there so that you're not caught running late. As mentioned, you should arrive well in advance of your interview time slot. If you can, try to arrive 15 minutes ahead of time so that you can get your bearings and go through the calming techniques that we looked at earlier. When you're called in for your interview, take a few deep breaths and be sure to offer a smile as well as a firm handshake. Keep this rule of 3 in mind: firm handshake, friendly smile, good posture. Slouching will make you seem tired, lazy, and unenthused. Be friendly to everyone you meet, from the doorman to the receptionist and the janitor. This should go without saying, and really should be the respectful demeanor you carry throughout your life, but it's even more important during the interview stage. Drum roll, please. It's interview time. During the interview, you already know what questions you will most likely be asked. Just remember to use the STAR structure when you're answering them. Refer back to the parrot technique that we went over in Section 2 of Step 12. Don't speak in a muffled way. Speak loudly and with confidence. Okay, don't yell at them, but enunciate and enunciate when you speak. In simpler terms, speak clearly and pronounce your words completely. At the end of the interview, ask questions that will make you seem interested in the role and knowledgeable about the company. Here is a list of questions that you could consider asking at the end of your interview. I've been following this company for quite a while now, but I would be interested to know how you would describe corporate culture here. What do you like most about working here and running the business? What do you believe is the key attribute I would need to bring to the table in this role? How is success measured in this role? Is there anything else I can provide you with to help you make your decision? Make your questions relevant and insightful and allow the conversation to evolve naturally. Don't just shoot questions out one after the other. Just like all the questions you prepared for them to ask, you might not be asked. There might not be an opportunity for you to ask all of your questions either. These are just good to keep in mind. Don't forget to thank them for their time and express your excitement in potentially, keyword here, hearing back from them. At this point, we can recap this chapter before moving on to more formal votes of thanks. End of chapter checklist. Tick off each box when you feel that you know the answers to the questions with the utmost certainty. Am I prepared to continuously research prospective employers? Do I know how to prepare for interview questions? Am I aware of best practices on the morning of the interview? Do I know how to act and respond during the interview? For more information on Step 13, Interview Preparation, please visit our website, www.radviser.com.